Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And as you can see, we have a little bit of a different background today. We are not at the pier. We are at the gorgeous Mile Square Theater located at 1400 Clinton Street in Hoboken, New Jersey. And we are going to dedicate our whole show to the theater because especially during a pandemic, people sometimes forget the arts, and we at the Pulse do not want to forget the arts. And you're going to be meeting several different people on today's episode who have a lot to do with the theater and different theater functions. But first is a familiar face, and she's looking so much better in her shirt than in my shirt, and that's Tracy Gavant, co-founder of Main Street Pops. Tracy, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So we are at the third installment of the film festival, and folks, you're going to want to get your tickets for that. $10 on Friday, July the 10th is
Correct.
the last installments. And the first two installments, were they a success or what?
Yes, we were thrilled with how much money we raised. We donated 100% of proceeds. The first screening was to help feed Hoboken, so all of the proceeds went to FLAG and the Hoboken shelter and the community center. And the second screening, we raised money for the Hoboken Relief Fund, and so I think in total we're up to about $15,000. So we're hoping to round it up to $20,000 by the end of this.
And of course, the third and most, I wouldn't say the most important part, but equally as important as the first two parts, is donating here to the theater in town. And it is our only theater here in the Mile Square City. And of course, it's most likely struggling due to the pandemic, like most other businesses are. So
yeah, absolutely. Two of the three of us at Main Street Pops are actually on the board of trustees of Mile Square Theater,
good.
and the third, Shan, is a big time volunteer. So this particular cause is near and dear to our hearts. And yes, the arts have been hit very hard, and will be one of the last to come back, because obviously people aren't going to be sitting in a theater anytime soon. So we want to make sure we keep the doors open, because it's such a beating heart of this city, and it's so important. So.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the beating heart of the city.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
it kind of gets your mind, it exercises your mind away from the stressful life, which are just outside these doors. And it's so peaceful in here. I mean, it really, really is. So, Tracy, I really, really enjoyed the first two film festivals. I mean, a lot of these short films were nothing short of fantastic, let's just say.
Yeah.
What can people expect from the third installments,
Well,
film-wise?
Yes. Well, this one, there's actually a theme to this one. It's called Intentional Adventure, which is completely apropos for, what's going on these days. So basically, all of the shorts have one thing in common, which is people overcoming obstacles and things like that. So they're all so inspirational. I mean, there's a blind man who actually rafts down the Colorado River. He conquers whitewater rafting down the Colorado River blind. I don't even think I would do it. Seeing. There's a man who lost a leg to cancer. He's a skier. There's Kentucky ice climbers and a few of the favorites from the.
How much ice is in Kentucky? I'm just trying to.
Yeah, they're from Kentucky.
Oh, they're not. Okay, I was going to say. Yeah.
Yes, and so each one of them has sort of this overcoming an obstacle and theme to it, which is obviously, hopefully, will be a good theme and inspirational for everybody to watch, given we're all obviously dealing with a lot of obstacles these days.
Absolutely. And it's similar to the last two installments where people can, for $10, get on the website, mainstreetpops.com, and make sure you purchase your tickets, because I think it's very affordable. I purchased them the last two, and I'm planning to purchase this one as well. Similar situation where the films stay up for 5 days, I believe, afterwards?
Correct. So
Yes.
it's a video on demand link that you'll receive once you purchase your tickets the day of. We will send the link so you have a chance to view the films for 5 days, watch them over and over again. And there's a Facebook Live component to it first. So
Very cool.
there's, sort of a communal part, and then and we'll be auctioning off a bunch of items, theater, socially distant, COVID, safe theater experiences during that time as well. So
And I
join the
wanted to
Facebook
ask
Live.
you about that. Absolutely. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that because I remember during the first installment, it was those H's, those cute little H's that
Right.
local artists made and so on and so forth. And of course, during the second installment, it was these really, really cool T-shirts that Tracy looks so much better in than I do. But I believe these T-shirts are still available, correct?
Yes, they're still for sale. We had a partnership with Solid Threads, so you can go on either our website, we'll click you through, or on solidthreads.com. and there are 7 to choose from. Get them all.
Get one each. The colors are
Yeah.
fantastic, and
And they're all of the artists' designs from the first auctions, all of the H's. So this is Ricardo Roig, I believe.
yeah.
So.
And trust me, I get looks out there, and not
Yeah.
because of my handsomeness, Tracy. It's because of my shirt. I know it is.
It's your beard, I think.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we're still letting it grow out, folks. So Tracy, you mentioned that this time it's going to be almost like a silent auction regarding benefits to benefit the Mile Square Theater. Correct. What are some of the items that they're going to be auctioning?
Well, first of all, we created a original character called the Wild and Scenic Guy.
Oh.
So that'll be kind of fun. You'll hear more about that later.
Exactly.
And he will be guiding us through this adventure. And so, yes, we will be auctioning off a bunch of items. Some of them, there's a hip hop, and they're all out. You can either do them outside or inside, whatever works for you and your comfort level given these times. But there's a hip hop party, there's theater games, there's a chance to throw out the opening pitch for our annual 7th inning stretch that we do every year here in Mile Square Theater. And probably my favorite, which is on my bucket list, is a flash mob.
No way.
Yes.
Now, they did this in Hoboken, I believe,
Yes.
last year or so?
Yes, it was Halloween.
Halloween, okay.
And so, and my husband and I actually participated. And so every time, if there's any kind of flash mob going on, sign me up. So much fun.
So when you say a flash mob, is it a choreographer that's teaching a mob? Is that
Correct.
Oh, I see.
So it's
okay.
sort of your very own private flash mob class. So you basically, so you get your friends together and do something really fun and have a few songs to choose from, and they will teach you the dance and all of that.
I mean, now that I have this beard, I feel so confident, Tracy, that I might have to, put a bid in on that one. Now, Tracy, where can people find more information about the silent auction? Is it through Main Street Pop's site, or is it through Mile Square Theater site?
Actually, both of them will have that on there. But yeah, Main Street Pops, and then July 10th will be the live auction.
Gotcha.
And that's when the films. That's the first day of the 5 days of viewing of the films as well. So it'll,
I see.
So ideally, you'll watch the Facebook Live event. You'll auction. You'll bid up on the auctions and then watch the films. But it's really
well. And so now, so the auction for Mile Square Theater is not up yet, or did it go live already? If you want to start bidding on it,
I think it's going live today.
Oh,
or
look
tomorrow.
at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So get on there and bid. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I mean, because these items are hot, especially the flash mob. Try to outbid me.
And then on Facebook, you on Mile Square Theater as well as Main Street Pops, we are actually showcasing information about each of the auction items in detail, and their beloved teachers here at Mile Square Theater that will be teaching them. And so you can get more information if you check on Mile Square Theater's site and Facebook page or
Absolutely
Main Street
fabulous.
Pops.
It really, really is. Now, Tracy, you were very, very lucky to have pretty good sponsors this go around.
Absolutely.
And we'll put those on your screen for you. I believe Muller Insurance, Hair Cult. If I forget anybody, sorry, they're popping
Natural
up.
Awakenings and GCM Homes.
There you go.
And you know what? It was a hard time for everybody, and they still hung in there when we told them that we were switching from, our live 3-day Earth Day celebration film festival to virtual. They hung in there with us, and even though obviously all of their businesses have been affected by the pandemic as well, and so we are so unbelievably thankful to their generosity.
Absolutely. Now, if you want to continue this, because unfortunately this is the last installment. I don't know what I'm going to do every month to get new films. This is hopefully something that you, Shan, and Sabrina, who hasn't been on air, Sabrina, we'll get you on air one day.
She's camera shy.
Is it something that you're thinking about in the future, about possibly continuing some sort of film festival like this?
Yes. So we will be having, you should definitely sign up for our newsletter. To get more information on some future events. But yes, we are working on a school program because obviously kids, they're not gonna be able to go on field trips and do a lot of the extracurricular activities. So we're creating something that will be a little bit of a outdoor adventure virtually for students. That's something we're working on now for schools, and we've got a couple of other things up our sleeve. But you've got to keep checking out our.
Sign up for her newsletter, Main Street Pops.
Yes.
Don't forget.
Lots more to come.
Lots more to come. Ooh, I like the way she could leave that little cliffhanger. Well, don't forget, Friday, July 10th, the last installment of the Wild and Scenic Film Festival from MainStreetPops.com. $10. Where else are you going to get that type of entertainment for $10? Tracy Gavant, co-founder of Main Street Pops. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much.
And we look forward to having you on in a future episode. So,
absolutely.
Folks, when we come back, more on the Mile Square Theater. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at the Pulse with Peter B, and make sure you like and follow us on there. We're constantly updating that page with new information. And also on Instagram, for all you grammars out there, make sure you follow us there as well. We're constantly putting these really cool stories, previewing all of our episodes. And if you don't want to DM us through our Instagram or message us through our Facebook, you can always email us. And that's at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. Still here at the beautiful Mile Square Theater at 1400 Clinton Street in Hoboken. And we're joined by another person who's making this shirt look absolutely phenomenal today. And that's Mr. Andrew Baldwin. Andrew, what's going on?
Hey, good to be here.
It's great to have you. So, Andrew, you are a member here at the Mile Square Theater. What do you do here?
I am the director of operations here, and I'm a teaching artist. I teach some of our theater classes. I'm an actor, and I'm going to be doing the live auctions for the Wild and Scenic Film Festival as the Wild and Scenic guy.
Oh, you're the Wild and Scenic guy.
Because
Tracy kind of mentioned this in the last segment.
Look, I don't want to brag, but I am the Wild and Scenic guy.
All right, I have to ask, though, and maybe you can't give me too much information. What entails the Wild and Scenic guy?
It's a character that we made up based on, the fun of these films and this festival, and it's sort of a mashup of the Crocodile Dundee character out in the wild. And we've got this set. This is from our last show, 5 Times in One Night. It's perfect. So we're going to film it on here, and then we're going to do the live auction. It's just a fun way to present the auction and talk about the theater and talk about what Mainstream Pops is doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really so. We have the Wild and Scenic guy here. I didn't even think we were going to have him.
Yeah.
So obviously, with the pandemic going on, Mile Square Theater has been closed throughout this time. I mean, what other type of, activities or initiatives or courses have you guys been doing?
Yeah, that was a big question for a while.
My apologies.
Our whole model is based on getting a whole bunch of strangers into a room together, and so that's not happening. But what we've done is we have started a whole bunch of virtual initiatives. So all of our classes, our teachers did this amazing job in putting all of our classes onto the Zoom platform. And we just had our final showcases where the kids performed, Treasure Island. They did their dance performances, their dance recital, all over Zoom. The kids had a great time. We were able to keep all of our teachers employed and keep bringing arts education into people's homes. And then we just did our first ever virtual show. So the 7th Inning Stretch was a show that we've done for
years.
17 years. This is the 17th annual one. I was like, I should know this. This is the 17th annual 7th Inning Stretch, and it's usually 7 10-minute plays about baseball, but we're like, okay, we're doing it online, so we're going to make them 2-minute segments, have some music and everything like that, and it ended up being a huge success. It was actually one of our best stretches ever because we had people who were, had been fans of the theater before, but were living in California, or somebody from the UK bought a ticket, and so people from all over the country and even all over the world were able to see shows from this little theater in Hoboken. It was really, really awesome.
That's awesome. And you've been here since 2013, you said?
Yep.
And what brought you to the Mile Square Theater?
So I studied acting down at the University of Miami.
Oh, cool.
So
a hurricane.
A hurricane, yeah.
The U, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Great place to go to school, by the way.
Whoosh, whoosh. Yeah. It was a great school. It was a great program, and I was lucky that Chris, our artistic director, he came down to teach there my senior year. He got put and as a director onto a show that I was cast in, and we really hit it off. As an actor, it's actually kind of rare to come across a director that you really mesh with so well. And towards the end of my senior year, he asked me to audition for a show. He had started this theater in 2003. Mile Square Theater's been around for a while now.
Almost it's a 20-year anniversary coming. We want to make sure we get to the 20-year anniversary.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, we will.
All right, good. I like that confidence. So.
And I auditioned to be in 12th Night out on the waterfront. We used to do shows out on the waterfront when we didn't have this home here uptown. And I totally just fell in love with it. I fell in love with Hoboken and the theater. I said, I need to make myself indispensable to this theater. So I started doing box office. I started doing admin work. I started teaching. And then 7 years later, here I am.
It's so interesting because you have to wear many different hats.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a theater like this, I mean, that is more prevalent, correct? I mean, like you said, you were at the box office.
It is not unique and anybody who's in the nonprofit sector, and especially the nonprofit arts, I think, knows about wearing tons of different hats all at the same time. Chris makes fun of me. He calls me the Wizard of Oz of Miles Square Theater because one time we were doing a children's show, Bunnicula, and I was puppeteering the titular bunny.
Puppeteering, wow.
And our box office person called out sick, and I was the only other person in the building who knew how to do box office. So I took my costume off. I ran down to the box office. I did the box office for before the show started. The bunny didn't come on until like 10 minutes into the show. So then when the show starts, I run back up, get into costume, get the bunny, get on stage. And so it was literally like, greet you at the door and then pay no attention to the man behind the bunny.
That's incredible. It really, really is. And this is what I mean. It's a passion of people like Andrew and the people here at the theater. And this is why it's so important that the community, because like I said, it's really gets lost in people's mind, the arts, comes together. So this auction that you guys are having, I know Tracy kind of mentioned it in the last segments, but I feel like there's more items that you might want to let the audience know about.
Yeah,
so.
well, I'm going to be teaching an improv class. And
No way.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. This is one of the things that I love to do the most at the theater is the teaching. This is all a labor of love, but I love to teach.
That's great.
And I teach adult improv, and I also teach it for kids. So if you want to auction it for your group of adults, we'll order some pizza and some beer or wine, and we'll have a good time, socially distanced time.
Nothing better than pizza, wine, and improv.
Whatever you want.
I was going to say that sounds like a recipe for disaster, but a good disaster.
A good disaster. That's what improv's all about, man. Happy accidents and good disasters.
I mean, that's phenomenal. And improv's always something that us in the journalism world we have to use a lot of. So and it is not easy. I mean,
absolutely, yeah. The adult improv, I have like businesswomen and businessmen come into my improv class all the time looking to improve their skills off the cuff.
That's fantastic.
You always need it.
That's really, really great.
Yeah.
So now Broadway, as you heard, they announced, I think just this past week or a few weeks ago, that they're actually canceling the rest of their shows until the end of 2020. Certainly Broadway is the mecca of theater, correct? I don't want to say is Miles Square Theater going to follow suit, but what's Miles Square Theater's plans now that Broadway made this announcement?
Yeah, anybody in the theater industry saw this coming, and it was devastating to make it official.
Yeah. Scary,
it's really, it's a scary time. But we have been planning for this and making sure that we're ready for this since March, basically. We thought in March, maybe we can do something in July. We were naive. Looking back now, we're like, oh, no way. But still in March, we thought, okay, but there's also the potential that we're not doing anything until 2021. So right now, the plan is, we've got a lot of things coming in the docket. We have commissioned plays that are on the Zoom platform. That's going to be really exciting. We've got playwrights that our audiences know, like Erin Mallon. She wrote The Net Will Appear. That was here back in 2017. Leah Romeo, Carrie Gitter, and Nanita Shenoy is the fourth playwright. They've all written plays for us, brand new plays about, the current time that we're in New Jersey. So it's I think really relatable. And so we've got a lot of these kinds of things. We're going to have a Christmas show that we're planning to be virtual again. And then we're all of these things are to sort of keep us connected to you all and our community and our audience, and to sort of keep the theater afloat and in people's minds, so that we can be here when we're ready to reopen. And we're hoping early 2021 we'll be able to open these doors again safely and bring people in for live events, because I don't know about you, but I miss live events a lot.
I think the feeling of camaraderie is certainly missing, and I think the Miles Square Theater was a very, very integral part, especially here in Hoboken, obviously, and Hudson County, I would say, for people to get together and take their minds off of the outside world, like I mentioned in the last segment. So, Andrew, we thank you for everything you're doing here, and you 100% want to take his improv class, because if he can wear a shirt like that and make it look that good, I mean, that's what you want to do. Andrew Baldwin, the Director of Operations here at Miles Square Theater, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We look forward to maybe seeing you again.
I hope so.
Exactly. Folks, we will be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Make sure you watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. And also, every Sunday, 9:30 a.m., we post our new episode and our segments, our individual segments, on our YouTube page. You're not going to want to miss it. Please subscribe to our channel there. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. Still here at the beautiful Miles Square Theater, located at 1400 Clinton Street in Hoboken. And our next guest here is getting me excited because we're going to start this segment in here, and then we're going to move on outside. As you can see, she's already starting to shake and move over here. And that's Sarah Weber Gallo. Sarah, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks. So nice to see you.
So nice to see you as well. So Sarah, what do you do here at Miles Square Theater?
I am dance director at Miles Square Theater. I run the Dance Academy, which has been open since 2015. This is our 5th year. So I write the curriculum. I'm the primary instructor. I'm the choreographer in residence as well. So I have done the movement design for many of, especially the children's shows here at Miles Square Theater, as well as my own immersive theater productions with my professional company.
Unbelievable. This is like your one-stop shop at the
Right?
Miles Square Theater.
I
We used to
know.
say the Pulse was. Now it's Miles Square Theater, 100%. And Sarah, what brought you here?
I was working on my grad school thesis. I have an MFA in dance from UWM in Milwaukee, and I was doing a production that I wanted to be hyper-local. I wanted it to be about Hoboken and in Hoboken, and originally I wanted it to be all around town. And of course, as most ideas become a little ungainly, they have to be smaller. So I knew I wanted it to be here. And my husband has been involved with the theater for a long time. He's a playwright in residence here as well.
It's a family affair, I was gonna say.
Oh my gosh, we're twins. And so
Jinx, right?
and so Chris offered us the usage of Miles Square Theater, and at that time we were still renting in the Monroe Center, so it was a circular space, which was perfect for my production. So we presented it there, and it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. It was like a rock and roll craziness. And that sort of began my relationship with Chris. And when they decided to start an education wing, they asked me to come on board to help run the dance portion of that theater education. And we've been here ever since.
Absolutely phenomenal. Now, dance, in my opinion, Sarah, is such a broad term. What type of dance do you teach? And if you say everything, we'll just call it.
Well, that would be a boring answer.
Very good. Very, very good. So talk to me.
So we teach ballet, we teach jazz theater dance, contemporary, classical modern, hip hop, tap, improvisation, and composition. So one of my big missions is to get the girls that I teach, it really is primarily young women, to have a lot of agency over their dance education. So I'm teaching them composition, and they are very invested in what happens on stage all the time. They are always part of the creative process. I'm trying to keep it as non-hierarchical as possible. So while I'm teaching classical techniques, it is done sort of in a laboratory situation.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Not the way I was taught dance.
I was going to say, probably a lot different.
Yeah.
And I guess you took your experiences and you enhanced them and made them better. So
Sure.
that's
Sure.
phenomenal.
My professional work is done at the Metropolitan Opera, which is like a super eclectic. We use all forms of dance, and that has really informed not only my creative work, but the way that I teach. So.
Absolutely phenomenal. Well, you did say that your dance studio moved from the Monroe Center to
Yes.
just down the block.
Yes.
So I need to go see it. Why don't we go see it right now? Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. And folks, just like that, we are now outside the Miles Square Theater and still here with the lovely Sarah Weber Gallo. Sarah, there's she's got the dance moves going. You know, I figure with a dancer, it's probably much easier to social distance, correct?
I think I have pretty good spatial awareness.
Exactly. So Sarah, we started to talk about your dance school inside the theater. What distinguishes your school with other schools in the area or other schools in general?
I think one big difference is that we are not a competition studio. Rather, we're more of a conservatory model, but really marrying true technical training with a more holistic approach, right? Our students are families, right? And I feel like when I'm a parent as well, so I feel like when I'm teaching, I'm also parenting the whole time. So we just want it to be an excellent experience on all levels.
Okay, I see the way. And now, obviously, and we spoke about this in the previous two segments regarding the pandemic.
Yes.
And regarding the Mile Square Theater and how the arts, and of course, dance is a form of arts, as we know, how that has affected the arts. How do you think it's affected your school specifically, and also dance in general? As I run into a tree, did you see that?
Yeah, well, you know, I thought you did that pretty
I was trying to do a little bit of a
smoothly.
dance move for you, but it didn't work.
Well, our school was affected obviously immediately, as
There
every educational institution was. We had to pivot immediately to online
There you go.
forms. We went straight away in one day, overnight, to live streaming, and then within a week we started Zoom.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so our classes have been interactive without a break, and now we're just in the process of editing our film recital, which is, of course, not what we would normally be doing, but
Right.
we're having viewing parties, and we're trying to keep it as connected as possible.
Interesting. So, by the way, folks, this is like, and I think I'm out of the way of the tray. This is like 2 short blocks, not even, maybe 1 block.
Block and a half.
A block and a half, we'll call it. Then there are Hoboken blocks, and Hoboken blocks are very small, from the Mile Square Theater. And we're going up this lovely ramp, and we are going to enter, as we can see from this sign, the Mile Square Dance Academy.
We're about to have a new sign. But
And we're about to have a new sign because it says class is canceled, but
Yeah.
you know, we'll. So why don't we head in and take a gander? All right, now we're inside this absolutely beautiful dance studio here. And before we came in, you wanted to finish up a thought regarding dance. So please go ahead.
Your question was about the state of dance and how
Correct.
it's been affected by the pandemic. And I will say, personally, all my performing work ended immediately, and that of all my peers. So it's been really hard for the industry. There's really no way to approximate the live experience and the performative experience and the exchange. So we've been struggling and really working hard to find different ways to present our art forms, both in teaching and in presentational form via online
By online
platforms. Yeah.
Exactly. And again, I brought this up in the last 2 segments regarding the Mile Square Theater's auction that's coming up. I'm sure there might be some dance auction items.
There sure are.
Yes. if-
There's
don't know if
I
want
think
to,
you heard about the flash mob.
I heard. I was
Yes.
going to say yes. Oh, are you?
That's Tracy's favorite.
I was, yeah. Oh, she made that very clear when she was on. Don't worry. So the flash mob, it's going to be choreographed by you?
Choreographed and co-taught by myself and my hip-hop teacher, Derek Ladson, who is a community favorite in Hoboken.
Very, very cool. So,
Yeah.
and I have to tell you, that's now. I was going to bid on that at first. Now I'm really going to bet on it because I saw her moves out there just by walking, and I wish I had that type of rhythm. You know, I'm getting there. I swear. Sarah, what does the future hold? I mean, it's such a broad question.
It's a
but I
broad
know It's something
question.
that you've thought of.
It's something that we're thinking of constantly, as are all other educational institutions. I mean, as you see, space is limited for in-person classes, and we have to really wait to see what happens in terms of the recommendations. But we're prepared for all eventualities. We're prepared for very safe, distant in-studio classes, a combination of that with Zoom, or to continue our online education. I mean, we just have come up with a lot of innovative solutions on the fly and continue to do so that we can still be here to serve the community.
And it's so interesting because, you know, people love to complain about wearing a mask, that they can't breathe. I feel like in dance, that's elevated greatly. Am I right or wrong?
We do aspirate a lot in both dance and theater education. So that's really been a concern of ours as educators and parents and community stakeholders. I haven't tried dancing in a mask, but it's something that if we are going to be in studio soon, we'll start to train in that way in order for us to practice safely together, for sure.
Well, fantastic. Well, Sarah Weber Gallo from the Mile Square Theater Dance Academy?
Dance Academy.
Exactly. Located just a short block and a half away. I feel like putting my leg up on this bar, but we don't want any wardrobe malfunctions like an old Super Bowl show, so we're not going to do that.
You could just pose.
Just like this?
Yes,
Is that pretty good?
it's pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. I am going to be joining the school, and Sarah's going to teach me the right way to do it. Folks, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to support local arts, Mile Square Theater, Mile Square Dance Academy, all of the above. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody.